Hello all, a very warm welcome to everyone. Today's webinar is presented by Dr. Ravi Varma. He is Associate Professor at Jawaharlal Nehru Technological University, Hyderabad, JNTU. It's called JNTUH, Hyderabad, India. And today's topic is very unique and very helpful for many children. It's based upon 3D design, and it's a 3D design workshop type of a webinar, and I hope you all will learn and enjoy this session. Mr. Ravi Varma, welcome to the webinar.
Um, Thank you very much, ma'am, for giving me this opportunity. And I welcome all the parents and their children to this, I would say, a workshop or a webinar. Um, and I just want to tell you a few minutes about myself. My son is, um, you know, diagnosed, and he is under ASD. He's about 15 years old. Um, So a lot of the times I keep telling myself, how to keep him occupied and engaged meaningfully and productively. And in my line of work, I and I felt what I'm doing and what I do at home is totally different. I'm trying to teach him very set number of uh, tasks that the therapist is telling me and other things. Then I got an idea because in my line of work, I'm doing this 3D modeling and for our students, engineering students. And I felt our kids are no less, and they can you know take benefit from the same uh, type of learning that we give in the universities and colleges. They can also we can also apply it for our kids, and then you never know, they might be an interest, and they may develop this sort of skill, and we never know what they create and what they may what is their imagination. um, and I was going through this and I saw this. Can I share my screen now, madam?
Please share your screen.
Yeah. So what I'm trying to say is probably more clear when I share this. There are a number of um, tools that are available, and which are really, I hope it's visible now.
Yes, I can see it.
Yes. So then there are a number of tools that are available, freely available. But this is one of the good ones. So it is web-based. And for today's, what I would like us to do is, I'll just you walk you through how to do some simple tasks and create some basic 3D models. Um, and but firstly, I would request all of you to please open this website, tinkercad.com, and create there is on the top right hand side, there's a join now. So you need to click that, and it will ask you to create an account with your email ID. So that will be the first starting point. So then we can have you will be able to create the objects once you create this account. So I request all of you to go to this website, tinkercad.com, and on the right hand side there's a join now. So click join now, and it'll ask you for your email ID, and you just need to have set a ID and password.
Ravi sir,
Uh,
can you type the website name in the chat window?
okay, okay. So I'll give you a minute or two. So please click join now. You can see the mouse pointer I'm showing. So on the top right hand side, click join now, and let me click it. I've already joined, so yeah, it will come like this. So you want to create a personal account, okay? So here, create a personal account. So if you click that one, create personal account, then goes to your email ID or Google Mail, Gmail ID. So I'll go ahead and click that. So this is um, important because if you have to access this site and the tools, you need to create this account. So I'll go ahead and click this sign with Google. Okay, some of you have done and you have said your message in chat section. Thank you for that. So yeah, well, it's now I've already signed in because this is my son's account. And just to give you an idea, these are the various uh, uh, projects that he has done. So I'll kind of walk you through some basics today. But this just kind of gives you an idea, what kind of things that one can do. I mean, I got my son started around a week ago, so he's made these kind of stuff, and it's quite engaging for him, and he found it. Even I found it quite surprising that he did it most of it with a little bit of help, but he could get a sense of how to do the objects. Um, okay, so I think once you've created, you'll get a web page like this, and there is an option called Create New Design. So please click that Create New Design. Create New Design, and that will take us to a what is called the home page. I like to call it as a home page. So this is our home page, and we can see quite a bit of tools. Number of tools are available for us. I'll, I'll take you through one of them, each one of them. Um, so this is our home page, and on the home page you have what is called a work plane. So this is our working plane, and what I would like to do now is I will show you how to bring objects into the work plane. So on the right hand side, we see these are various objects that are available to us. You see Tinkercad basic shapes, and in the basic shapes we have box, cylinder, sphere, scribble, um, and if you scroll down, so you have more and more shapes, roof, cone. Now, let's say I want to get a box into my working plane. So I'll just left click, drag it, and place it on the uh, anywhere, just let go of the mouse. Uh, and you see there, I have created a box, and all we are doing there is left click the object and drag it, bring it into the work plane, and let go of the mouse, and then you have the object in your working plane. So do the same with another object. Let's say a cylinder. Left click, drag it, hold the mouse button, and let go. There you go. I have the object in my work plane, and so it's as simple as that. So that's how we bring whatever objects that we want to use into the working plane. Let's say I bring another one. This is a roof. Just bringing an object here. Now you see, there is also an option here for text. So here we see text. Text, we can left click this, bring it into the work plane, let go, and I can change. So interestingly, with text, I can change the text. So if you see on the right hand side, there is an options pane or window that has come up. So in this options, there is a text. I can I can type in my own anything that I want. Say I want to type hello, and just click anywhere outside, and I've made a 3D text. Right, you can type in your name or your anything personal, and you can create that 3D object in the text based form as well. Let me see. Yeah, so you see the various custom shapes already done for us. One can pick any shape and just bring it into our work plane. There's a pyramid. So here is a paraboloid. All we are doing there is simply bringing the objects into the working plane. Okay. So, so parents, are you able to do that? Please, I can
Yes, sir.
respond in the chat section as well.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Mamata and Venkat have said yes. So very so glad. I'm happy to get those responses. So that is the first step that you can get the child to learn also. Next, I would like to show you how to view these objects in 3D. So we know they are in 3D. We're looking at it, but we want to know how they look in different perspectives. I find that very fascinating. And if you see on the left hand side, on the top, there is a box. This is, if you see top, front written on it. This is what I like to call it as an orbit box, an orbit. So if I left click and hold it, left click and hold and drag it, see, I can see the objects in a different perspective, right? As I'm still holding the mouse, left click and drag, and you can rotate the working plane in any angle that you wish to. So, and why we need to do this is so it gives us a different perspective. and you can see it right. You can even see it right from the bottom. See how the objects, how these 3D objects look from, if you were to look from the bottom. So I find this very fascinating, while you can explore any object that you create in different angles, and you may get a different ideas, how to change that object, how to look at it in a different way. Okay. What I was doing is, so now we are clear how to bring the object into the work plane. I believe. So what I'm trying to show is how to look at the object in a different perspective. So on the top left hand side, we see there is an orbit box. So we can just left click and drag and hold it and drag it, or rotate it. So that will rotate our work plane in the same manner. So this gives us, we can see the object, how the objects will appear from another angle, from behind, from the top, from the back, from the right hand side, from the left hand side. So many perspectives can be seen from the using this tool. Now let's say you want to see the top view. So if you look at the orbit box, what I like to call it as an orbit box, just click, left click, and no need to on the top. So I get a top view. Okay. So if I were to look at this, my objects from the top, this is how they will look. Now, remember these were all these boxes that we had created, and from the top it looks in a different perspective. Now, if I were to come back to the original view, right? So all you need to do is click the home view. See, again, on the left hand side where my mouse pointer is, I click the home view. I come back to the original default view. Okay, so that will be very useful, because sometimes you want to come back to the working plane, the actual view that you started with. So all you need to do there is just click the home view, and it brings you back into this default the front view. So on the orbit box, you see there is where my mouse pointer is, you have a front. So just click the front, left click, and you get to see how the object appears from the front. Okay. Now similarly, if I want to see, go back to the home view. Now I want to see how the object appears from the say right view. So let's orbit box, and you see there's a right view option. Just left click that, and then you get to see how the objects appear from the, if I were to look at it from the right hand side. Okay, so these are called perspective views. So when you create a 3D object, you will be able to see all this, and you will be able to appreciate how the object looks from different angles. So let's get to home view. Okay, let's see. I believe you're getting that. What I would like to do is to take a minute or two to just to practice that, and next I would like to show you is how do you zoom in and zoom out. Okay, so zoom in and zoom out. There are two ways you can do it. On the left hand side, you see the plus minus. So there is a zoom in option. I can just zoom in. If I want to zoom out, then it's the minus option, right? Now let's say I want to look at this object more closely and I want to rotate my view. So I just click on it on the orbit box and I get to see the different uh, perspective view of that of the objects that I have created. Okay, there you see. So I basically what I've done is I've zoomed in. So if I want to zoom in further, I want to see some more details of that object, I can just zoom in and then rotate. So that gives me more appreciation, what that object looks like. Um, this is quite useful when you're doing a little more complicated object, like you have 3 or 4 shapes on top of each other or beside each other. Then we will do that exercise a bit later, because all these options will help us to look at the object in a more closer details. Okay, now zooming out, so we just hit the minus button, so we can zoom out. Okay, the other way I told you earlier, there are 2 ways. Now, if some of you may have a mouse with a wheel, a mouse wheel we call it. I think I'll just try to show it. I don't know. So my mouse has a wheel on it. So you can rotate this wheel. See, I'm moving the mouse wheel, and it is my work plane is zooming in and zooming out. Okay. So this is the other way of zooming in and zooming out of the work plane. All right. So those are the two ways actually. Uh, most of you would have a mouse with a wheel button on it. All you need to do is scroll it, and then you'll be able to zoom out and zoom in. Uh, yeah, right. Okay. Let me go to home view. Now, sometimes the next option. So far we learned about creating objects, um, orbiting orbiting the work plane, and zooming in and zooming out. Zooming in, zooming out. Now, the another option that we have in this tool is to be able to what we call move the work plane around, or we call it pan the work plane. So for that, we need to use the keyboard. So we need to use the keyboard here. The shift keyboard and control. Both press the shift and control bar keys, and left click and drag the work plane like this. So this is called panning. Panning the PAN, pan. So you're panning around you're moving the work plane around like this. So why we are doing that is like if I want to say I want to zoom in here and I, I want to work on this object and it is slightly away. So instead of zooming out and zooming in, I can do the pan. So use the shift and control button, left click, and you see I can just move pan it around. Now I have a better view of the this object that I can work. Okay, so it is being, because once you zoom in, it will save you some time. You don't want to zoom out and zoom in every time. So you can use this pan option to move around the work plane. Now, um, so are you able to follow that option? I'll repeat it once again. Now let's say I want to work on the box. So the box is slightly to the corner of my screen. Okay, but I want to bring it so that I can work on it, or I want to view it. So use the shift button and control both at the same time. Keep pressing them. You have to hold them. Hold the and left click and drag. Now you see. Now I have the box in front of me, and I can work with the box. I can make changes to the box, or I can work with this object. So this is a very useful option, and it's called panning, PAN. It's simple, PAN. So parents, are you able to follow that option, pan option? Okay, Venkat has said yes.
Mamta has also said yes.
Yes, Mamta has just said yes. Thank you very much for your response. Um,
Abhi is also able to pan.
Great, great, very nice. So now let's move on to the next uh, tool that we have. Uh, let's say I want to move the object. Let's say I want to move this box to another location, to another point, another place. So let's see how to do that. Now all you need to do is I left click on the box, and you see there are a number of small squares that have come up. We will not use those right now, but you click anywhere on the object, anywhere else on the object, and just drag it. See, now I'm able to move the object, okay, in any direction I want. I want to move it up, or down, to the left, or to the right. So all I'm doing there is I just left click on the object. I'll try it again. Left click on the object. When you left click, you see all these little squares, but don't worry about that right now. So to move the object, left click anywhere on the object and just drag it. Okay, and you can place it anywhere. You can just move it around. I want to put it somewhere there. I'll leave it there and let go of the mouse. Let go of the mouse. And you see the box. I've placed the box there. Now, let's say I want to bring this cylinder to another place. So what do? I left click and click anywhere on the object. Remember, you just have to click anywhere on the object. Left click, hold it, drag it. Just drag it anywhere that you want to place it. Say I want to place it here. I'm just placing it here. Okay. Now I'm zooming out I'm zooming out using the mouse, and you see I have moved my object. So let's say I want to move this object here, this text that I've created. Just left click it, click anywhere on the object, and move it around. Move it around. Okay. So this kind of it allows us to place the objects anywhere you want. So you have complete control of it. All right. So that is about moving the objects, moving them around. Next, I would like to show you. Now, this is one of my favorite. To rotate the object. You want to rotate the object. So the rotating object, you can rotate it. There are several options that are available to rotate the object. So let me pan to this some object. One second. Let's say okay. Let's say I want to. Let's take the box. The box is probably is a little easier. We'll try to understand how to move this, how to rotate this box. So left click on the box, and when you left click, you see these are some double arrows. You can see those double arrows where my pointer is. You get to see when you put your mouse, the pointer, when you put your pointer on the double arrows, you get this like a clock. So a clock dial. So you get to have the option to just left click and hold and just rotate like this. You see, you get to control the object. You get to rotate it in the manner that you want. Okay. Once again, now if you see these double arrows, just take your pointer there and this double arrows, and you get to see this kind of a clock, and left click it and drag it. So you get to rotate the object and let go of it, and there I have rotated the object. And if I'm happy with that, then I can just leave it like that. If I want to rotate even further, again go to take your mouse pointer to these double arrows, left click, and just rotate it. Okay, rotate like that. Right. Now, notice when I click on the object, there is another double arrow here. Now you can see there. So this this another option, and when I take my pointer there, it gives you another clock face. So you can left click that and hold your mouse, hold your left click button, and rotate it in this direction. There you see you're able to rotate it in in another direction. So you're not limited to rotating in one direction. No, you have. So now you see I've done my rotating, and I get an object like that, and I've rotated it. Now let us see. Now you see how the object has been rotated, and this kind of gives you the perspective how the object has been rotated. All right. Now when I um, orbited, remember I said orbiting. When I orbited, I get to see different perspective. And interestingly, coming to this rotating option, so we have three options to rotate. So here you can see when I click the object, I can see this double arrow here where my pointer is, and there's another one here, and there's a third one. So this is another. So these are three directions in which I can rotate the object. So I left click this and drag and hold. So now I'm able to rotate the object in this third dimension as well. So, so that's how one can play around with the rotate options. Now, so that is basically, now let us say I want to undo, I want to come back if I'm not happy with this and I want to come back to the previous um, position. So all I can just do is undo here. So there's an undo option here. On the left hand side, there is an undo. And just click undo and it will undo whatever you have done. So now you see, now I'm back to my where my object was earlier. Okay. Let's try and do it with another object. So let's say I'm going to the home plane, home view. Let's say I want to rotate this text hello. Okay, I want to rotate this object hello. And let's say I take another view here. Now, if I left click the object, now you can see the three double arrows I was telling you earlier, right? If I want to rotate it in this direction, I can click this. If I want to click it in that direction, just left click and on those and just rotate like that. Now let's say I want to place this in this way. So all I have done there is I've double clicked I've clicked the double arrows, and now you see I've rotated that text hello, and it's now in this manner. Now let's say I want to move this. Okay, I'll come to moving. So first let's all get familiar with the rotating objects. Are you able to follow that? Rotating the object? Yeah, Chandani said yes. Venkat, Yashwant have said yes. Great, great. So let's say I want to, okay, the next option I wanted to show you. Yeah, thank you for that. Darshita, Parvati all said yes. Now, the other option I was going to show you is how to move the object in the upward direction. All right, upward. Let's see. Now, if I click on the object here, let me zoom into this and pan into the box again, so we can work with the box. This is my box. I clicked on it, and let me rotate it a little. So now you can see. So now what we're going to do is how to lift the object above and below the working plane. How to move it up and up. Remember, earlier we saw moving the object here left and right like this. Okay, this is what we explored earlier. Now, how do we if I want to lift the object above the work plane and or take it below the work plane. So here, when I click the object, we see a number of these boxes, uh, and then we see a small cone. Okay, a small cone like this. You see where my pointer is. It turns into a red color. It changes color when I bring my pointer. So I click on it and just drag it up. So now you see I'm lifting the object above the working plane. I'm lifting the object above the working. So let's see what perspective that gives. Let's say this is my working plane. I have clicked the object. Now if I click and drag it, so you see the object is basically, I can lift it above the work plane. Let's see how that looks. Now you see the perspective of it. It's above the working plane. All right. Let's try it with this object, this text that we created, hello. Remember, earlier I rotated the hello text, and it is below the work plane. It is below, so I want to bring it up. I want to bring it up. So click on the object, and remember there is that cone. So left click on it, and just drag it up there. Now you see I've got that on the working plane, and it's on the same level. Okay, so this is lifting the objects. Now the other uh, yeah, yes, Yashwant was asking, can you change the color? Yes. Um, Here, if I want to change the color of the box, now if I click on the box, um, so you see you got these options here, solid, and if I click on solid, then you have all these color options. Okay, so when I click on that solid option, um, you get these various color options here. So let's say I want to change it. Yeah, so you can change the colors. Change the color to yellow, so on. Okay. So Darshita was saying not able to put objects above working plane. All right. So let's see. All you need to do is click on the object. Do you mean to move the object above, or not able to put objects?
Uh, sir, I'm not able to put objects above the working plane.
Okay, you mean to move it up and down, huh?
Sir.
Okay. I'll show it again. So all you need to do is click on any object. So let's say this paraboloid. I click on that object, and you see this cone, this black cone. Any object that you click, you see that option. That cone, is that visible, madam?
Yes, sir.
Just click on it, left click on it and hold it. Hold and drag. Hold and drag. And let it go. Let go of the mouse. So that way, you see, now I have lifted that object above the working plane. Is that working, madam?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Parvati is saying not able to get hello in standing position. Okay, I'll what we need to do there is we need to just rotate. So just click on hello, and when you click on hello, the object, you see these double arrows, man. There are 3 double arrows you can see. Sometimes what happens is you are in a, let's say you're in a home view. See, I'm able to see only 2 double arrows. So to get to see all the 3, you need to rotate a little using the orbit box or using your mouse. So now you see, I can see the 3 double arrows. So this is one direction. This is another direction that I can rotate. This is the third direction I can rotate. This is the, so this was the direction I chose to rotate. See, so I can just rotate and leave it like that. Now it is in a sleeping position. Okay. Now you see, even we get a shadow on the work plane, so that gives us the perspective that that object is above the work plane. So if I want to rotate this again, just click on the object and look for the double arrows. And here is my double arrow, and I just rotate it. So I can even measure how much I'm rotating. So you can see the 90 degrees. So I just rotate it by 90 degrees, and I get it in the standing position that way. The Parvati is asking location of the orbit box. Here I am showing my pointer, man. On the left hand side, you see this orbit box. This orbit box. Where my pointer is, this is the orbit box. And there's another way that if you want to orbit around, I'll just show you. Another way is hold the control button on the key. Hold the control button, press the control and hold it. Control button and left click on your mouse. Left click and drag it. Left click and drag. See, and this is what I'm doing now. I'm instead of using the orbit box, sometimes this is easier. Just hold the control button on your keyboard and left click on the working plane and just drag it. Okay, just drag it. Just drag, and you can rotate it as you move your mouse, holding your left mouse button. And once you let go of the mouse button, it will stop. So you can stop like that. That is a little easier than to use an orbit box. The orbit box is useful if you want to see the front view. If I want to see the front view, I just click front. If I want to see the left hand side view, just click on the left arrow. And if I want to keep rotating, this is the back view. This is the right view. This is the front view. Okay. And if I'm done with all viewing and all, I want to just go back to the home view, just click the home view. The home view gives you the entire work plane in the default view. Okay. I think most of you got it. So one more thing a couple of things I want to show you is how to stretch the object. So we have an object and we want to be able to stretch it in in all directions. So remember I showed you, I told you earlier, when you click an object, so I'm just panning, remember the pan option, and I'm just rotating. So I am in this, I want to work with this object. And let's say I have, when I click on the object, we get to see these small squares. These squares, these basically help us to stretch the object into whatever size or shape that you want. So let's say I click on these white boxes, and you see I can just move it around like this. If I left click and drag it, I can make it longer, wider, or bigger in that sense. Okay, so if I can click on any of these little tiny squares that we see in the corners, okay, so I can just change the length and width on that object. Okay, and let's see what happens if these black squares, these tiny little black squares. This is like you want to only increase only the length of it, only in one direction. So here you can do it in this way. Okay. Now, if I want to stretch it in the other direction, in this way, so just click on the those squares, tiny squares, and you can just stretch it like this. Stretch. All right, stretch it. And let's see what happens here. Now this one, you can increase the height, the height of the box. So those are some of the options available. You can just click on any object, and you get to see these tiny little boxes, and you can play around with it. You can just make stretch it in this direction. You want to make a box a bit bigger, you make it like that, and like this. All right. Now, let's say I want to get this one. This is my kind of what I would say roof. Okay, let's say roof. Now I'm going to try and make a. So are you able to get that stretching? Yeah. So what I'm going to do is now we will try to make this. Let me try and rotate this. This is my roof, and I want to make it like a small house. Let's try and make a small house. So this is the roof of my house, and this is my house, let's say. And let me bring this on. I'm just going to bring it down onto the work plane. And here you can see when I'm bringing it down, you can see the various, this 0 means it's on the work plane. All right. Now let's say I want to bring this roof so I'm just playing around with this. I want the roof a little bigger than the house. So let me move these guys around here. Now let's say I want the roof a little longer than the house. I make a roof like this, a little bit longer. Now I can rotate the orbit around to know where and then I can just stretch this a little more because I want the roof a little bigger than my house. All right. And let's see another perspective on this. Now you can see. Now I want the roof on the house, right? So let us first bring it here. And now use the lift button. So I'm going to lift this, and I'm going to put this on top of the house. Okay. So now I'm just moving around. I get to see how my object looks in different angles. So now now let's say I want to put um, some object here. So let's say let me try this, a window. So all I'm doing is I'm bringing a box, make it a small, tiny one. Okay. And stretch it, bring it down a little. Now I can take this object here and bringing it to the, let's say I want to make a door or something. Let's say make a slightly different color. Yeah. Right. So that's like a simple, what all I've done there is I've just used a box and this roof option to make a simple structure, simple tree structure. If I want to, from your imagination, you can do so many things. And um, this will give us different perspective. And I feel if you can rotate around the plane, you get to see how the object looks like in various perspectives. I mean, the possibilities are endless. I mean, we can do a lot of objects. Uh, Kids are doing so many, and I think once you know these basic steps, how to bring the object, how to stretch the object, move the object, and lift the objects above on top of each other, color the object. So I think when Venkat asked me that also, um, I showed you that. So you can play around with the colors. Uh, and the important thing is you can view that object in various um, perspectives, and you will be able to appreciate the object that you have created. Um, One thing is I suggest the kids or parents just look at an object in your house and try to recreate that. Anything, a simple thing and a very simple object, try to recreate that in your house. Yes, yes, Saujanya ma'am is asking, can we lift law? Yes, we can. So for that, remember this house that I created, it's a part of, there are three objects here, more than one object. There's a roof, so I need to group them all. I need to group them. So I can select all of them, just left click and drag and select, okay? And that will allow me to, now I have selected all the objects in that house. So I need to group them. I need to make them into one group. So on the right hand side, you see where my pointer is, we have a option called group. So you click the group. Uh, and now that has made it into a group. I've left clicked, I've selected that, and it has grouped it. So all those objects that I have used to make this house, they are grouped into one now. Once I have grouped them, now I can work with them as one group. So I can lift it, I can rotate it, I can stretch it. Right? Remember we learned those three? We can rotate, we can stretch, and we can lift and move the object. So here I can lift. Just remember to lift, it is that cone. So I just lift it. Okay? I'm just lifting it like that. Right? So that way we can play around. I mean, these are some of the objects that my son had created. I just wanted to show you that before uh, so just look around objects around us. Try to create such like here. I think you can see this. Like, let's create an airplane. All right. I think this is a small table that is created. All right, and a chair. So he looked at some tutorials, I think, online. I don't know, maybe or maybe he saw something in the house and he tried to create that. This is a house. These are some of his creations. Right. So in that way, one can play around with uh, with the 3D objects. And and the website itself has many options. One can also look at creations that have been done by others, and we can also work on that. Let me show you. Yeah, see on the website, once you come to your home page, this page here, you get gallery. So if you go to gallery, you can create. There are so many things that people have created. So that one can look at that. Or if you want to create um, on your own also, you can create. And I think that's all I have for today. Let me see. I think I've covered all of the basic things that one can do with this 3D object. Imaginations can be limitless because our kids have. I mean, this is one way of expressing their imagination, I feel. And if they are given these basic tools, and you don't know what kind of wonderful things they may create. Um,
Thank you so much for a wonderful session. It's really very helpful, and
yeah,
this is a skill that can be built in children. So I hope many parents have learned the few fundamental techniques here, and I hope your kids will have fun. Ravi sir, thank you so much for explaining so clearly and demonstrating it on this particular site. It's very helpful and very amusing as well. Thank you so much for your time, and thank you all for joining in today. Thank you.
thank you.